I promised to do another video on the Renko indicator for TradingView that we've developed because it is a little bit different from the norm. And in fact, what we've done is to incorporate two versions of the Renko into the one indicator. Now, the one you're looking at here is what we call the time-accurate Renko. And the reason we developed it is very simple in concept. When you look at a normal Renko chart below the equivalent time-based chart, we've got the time-based chart above here. This is on 15-minute. This is for the NASDAQ, the NQ E-mini future. Now, if this were a standard Renko, and I'll flip it back to it in a moment, but if this were a standard Renko chart, it's very difficult to actually tie the Renko price action to the equivalent time-based action, because this timestamp down here at the bottom only relates to the time chart at the top. It does not relate to the Renko chart. And the reason for that is because each Renko brick on a conventional Renko chart builds in its own time. Each brick has its own timestamp. It may build more quickly, more slowly. They're all different, and it depends on how quickly the price action is moving, either in trend, up or down, and that will dictate how quickly a brick builds. So a Renko chart is independent of time. So it doesn't relate to the same timestamp, in other words, the same time axis down here, as the time chart does. So it's very difficult to actually relate the two together. So what we've done is we've come up with this alternative, which, as I say, is called the time-accurate Renko. And what that means, in essence, is exactly that the price action here that you see in this particular trend, for example, relates to the same period of time as does the price action on the time chart. And the reason it does that is because what happens when the price action goes into congestion, then so does the Renko here. And it only moves out of these various congestion phases once the trend starts to pick up some momentum. So if we start over on the bottom left here, we had congestion, then we had a little bit of trend momentum, more congestion following, we had it in here on the price-based chart, then we start to get some momentum building into the trend, and we get this really nice trend developing. And it is one of the beauties of a Renko chart because it removes all the little pauses, the little spiky price action, obviously that we use in volume price analysis. But in terms of looking at it for holding you in a trend, for example, it really does give you this very smooth price action. And it's one of the great advantages of using a Renko. Renko is very much a scalping tool, as I'm sure you appreciate. But it is one of the great advantages of using a Renko in that you get these really nice, smooth trends. And also, can I say, you get very clearly defined congestion phases because they are built with bricks. So you get very clearly defined lower level and upper level as the brick moves into congestion along through here. We then get a little downtrend developing, a little bit of momentum in that move, then back into congestion again. And this is what we're seeing constantly. But what you're looking at the whole time is you are looking at this Renko chart in the context of what is going on up here. So you can just see from eyeballing that the price action very much follows the price time-based chart price action, but it's reflected on the Renko as well. And what this time-accurate Renko gives you is not only very clear signals when a trend is starting to develop and how strong that trend is, it's associated with the price action, but also it gives you these very clearly defined congestion regions for support and resistance, and just giving you an idea of where these levels are going to break from and how extensive that congestion period has been. Yes, of course, it mirrors the price action, but it just gives you it in a very clear, delineated way, which you don't see with a Renko chart conventionally attached to a time-based chart, because it's almost impossible to tie the two together. And I can show you that very simply. By the way, I've got this set on, let's just click on that and go into settings, bottom there. This is where you toggle between the two. So we are at the moment, we're on the time accurate one here. We're on the ATR setting here. We've got no fixed box size. So basically this is telling us at the moment in this fairly sluggish piece of price action right now, the optimal box size is set at 8.8 here. So that's delivered off the ATR setting. But of course, if we wanted to change that to a box size, let's say we wanted to change this to, I don't know, let's make it 5, for example, and we just click on the OK, then that will change us to the setting here, which you can see is changing the box here. We're now running on a 5-point, that could be pips, index points, dollars per ounce, dollars per barrel, doesn't matter, whatever it is. And that will then give you your selected preference for the box size. So let's just click on that and go back again. Let's just change that back to 0 again. So we're back on the ATR setting, and that will go back to 8.8. Now what I'm going to do is just show you what a Renko chart looks like, the traditional Renko chart, if you like, which is called traditional, believe it or not very original, but there we go. And we just click on that, OK. And that gives us our conventional Renko chart. Now, what's difficult to identify is how this price action relates to the price action over here. Clearly, this section of price here is related to this section of price here, but it doesn't relate in terms of the timestamp at the bottom. It has no relationship to that whatsoever, other than that we're at the leading edge here in terms of real time, if you like. So, you look at these things and you think, well, where is this piece of price action? Where was this? Well, it was over here somewhere. And that's the issue when you're looking at it. Yes, of course, you can pull that out of the way, and now you're looking at it from a purely from a Renko perspective, as you would look at any other Renko chart. But one of the other beauties of the using the a Renko attached to a time-based chart or immediately below a time-based chart is that on the time-based chart, obviously we would have volume. We're a volume methodology company, and that will give you the direct relationship between the volume price analysis on the time-based chart and associated with the equivalent Renko when we switch back to the time accurate version, which I can do there, and we just click the OK. And then if we want to put the volume on here, then we've got a direct relationship with what is going on here in terms of what is going on in terms of volume, associated price action, and so on and so forth. So it's just a very it's a very unusual development of the Renko, and it's an extension of the Renko, if you will. Now, some traders will find this helpful. Others traders will say, well, it's not terribly helpful. It's just something that we thought was an interesting development, an interesting extension of the traditional Renko, and used in a way where you're combining it directly with the time-based chart, where you can have all your other indicators up here, all the other quantum indicators, trend monitor, trend dots, all the rest of it. Volume obviously will be on here as well. And then you've got your equivalent Renko below. And obviously this works in all time frames. So you can have this on any time frame attached that is available on TradingView and use it in that way. So I just wanted to spend a little bit more time on the time accurate Renko and just explain really why we developed it. And the advantages that it gives when you're using it in association with a time-based chart. I appreciate many traders will not take that approach. Some will find it helpful and find it useful. It's there. It's part of the Renko offering on TradingView, and we just thought it was an interesting and exciting way to consider the price action on Renko and really tie it directly to the time-based chart. So hope you found this particular video interesting. Always welcome your comments and feedback, particularly on this one, and see how we get on with that. And look forward to seeing you in the Quantum Trading Room or one of our webinars in the near future. So thanks very much indeed for watching. See you soon, and bye for now.